Well, I think what I can say is that, I won't supplant the answer given by the witness. So, let's stick to the answer given by the witness himself. No? Tinanong siya, has the Vice President ever asked for exemption with respect to this audit of the use of confidential funds? Like what you've said, malinaw ang sinagot niya. That meeting, he considered it as a request for an exemption, no? Dahil tulad ng sinabi niya kanina, they requested, pinakiusap nila kung pwede, kung may makita silang findings, wag nang mag-issue ng AOM, no? Or Audit Observation Memorandum. Ang sabi nga niya, kung pwede, instead of an AOM, just issue audit queries na hindi napagbigyan dahil nga walang concept ng audit query sa loob ng joint circular, kung saan ito yung nag-govern ng use and liquidation of confidential funds. But of course, I also want to be fair, to Attorney Poa. Maybe he could give also, I'm sure you're going to ask him about this, and maybe he could give some clarification about this meeting, and he could give his side regarding it, just to be fair, right? But yes, naging maliwanag yun. It appears that a few days before that AOM was actually issued, that meeting was held, and so they requested for this, and long and short of it is yun. Ganon ang dating, dun sa auditor na nag-handle nito, si Attorney Wamil. Ang dating sa kanya, they were requesting for an exemption.
Sir, just a short follow-up on that. May nakikita po bang something irregular yung prosecution sa naging supposed actions ng nina Attorney Poe and Attorney Zulaika na mag-set ng meeting with Attorney Wamil and ask for an audit query instead of issuing an AOM? May irregular po ba dun sa meeting na yun or wala naman?
Well, yung conclusion na yan, as to whether or not it's irregular, we'll leave it to the impeachment court to reach the conclusion and the decision in that matter. But at the very least, it raises questions that must be answered, right? Because of the timing and what was discussed.
Okay po. Next question ko na po siguro. Earlier din po during the defense cross-examination, may pinakita pong dokumento si Attorney Michael Poa, a 2014 document stating that during the time of Vice President Jejo Marbinay, may SARO na inilabas na supposedly proving that there is confidential funds during his time, and this is contrary to what State Auditor Roderick Wamil said yesterday na sa previous 3 administrations from VP Binay, Lenny, and VP Sara, si VP Sara lang yung nagka-confidential funds. Does this affect the case po or your case? Kasi mahalaga po ba talaga na ma-establish na si VP Sara lang yung may confidential funds or hindi po yun yung usapin?
At the end of the day, hindi naman yan yung main point dito, Kasi ang point dyan, lahat na makatanggap ng confidential funds dito. So ngayon, pinag-uusapan natin dito, confidential funds na ginamit ng Vice Presidente. These are public funds, so she should account for them properly in accordance with the rules, as stated in that joint circular. But balikan ko lang yun, ang naging tugon ng witness nung tinanong siya dito, sabi niya he's not familiar with it. In fact, tinanong nga niya, did they liquidate? Kasi doon siya merong knowledge kung they liquidated it. I did not get the chance to see that document, but based on what you've said and what was mentioned a while ago, mukhang sinasabi na aprubahan ang pagbigay ng confidential fund. Pero tanong nga is, nagamit ba talaga yun? That's a completely different matter. And kung nag-liquidate sila, dun lang siya magkakaroon ng partisipasyon, kung sinabmit itong liquidation documents na to sa ICFAO nung nandun siya sa panahon niya. Kaya nga sabi niya, hindi ako familiar.
Idagdag ko lang dyan, Ang katanungan kasi is, nagkaroon ba ng confidential funds si former Vice President Jejo Marbinay o hindi? Now, ang tinutumbok ng impeachment court ay whether nagamit ba ng husto o hindi ang confidential fund na ibinigay sa Office of the Vice President at sa Department of Education. Sang-ayon sa PD 1445 at dun na rin no, sa Joint Circular number 15, ito yung guidelines kung ano ang dapat pagkagastosan ng confidential fund. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan dito is, it's not whether you have or you have not confidential fund. Ang pinag-uusapan dito is kapag meron kang confidential fund, hindi pwedeng gastusin mo yon sang-ayon sa gusto mo. Meron kang pagbabasihan na ano ba ang direksyon, ano ba yung output na gusto mo. Ito ba ay against drugs, ito ba ay against terrorism, ano ba yung mga bagay na covered ng confidential funds na expenditure. Basically because lahat naman po yan pera galing sa taong bayan. Pera galing sa buwis. Nagagastusin natin para rin ibalik ang benepisyo sa tao kagaya ng pagsugpo ng drugs, pagsugpo ng mga kalamidad na unexpected, no? Pagsugpo ng terorismo kung saan maapektuhan ang ekonomiya ng ating bansa. Yan ang tinutumbok dito. At kung pakikinggan natin ang ating witness kanina, si Attorney Wamil from the Commission on Audit, ang kanyang sinasabi ay ito ang mga pinagkagastusan sang-ayon sa report sa kanya. Aside from the fact na lumampas na siya doon sa covered na dapat 2022, aside from the fact na lumampas na siya doon sa coverage, ang tinutumbok niya ginamit para sa gamot, hindi makita yung accomplishment report na pinagkagastusan. In fact, ang naaalala ko doon sa words is, ang paggamit ay parang MOE o yung mga gastusin sa loob ng opisina mo, which is different from a confidential fund. So again, ulitin natin, hindi issue dito na, well, it's still an issue, maliit na issue, kung meron ba o wala ang former Vice President sa personal kong pananaw. Pero bilang ang prosecution at bilang parte ng Kongreso is now standing as part of the prosecution in the Senate Impeachment Court, ang pinag-uusapan dito, ginamit ba sa tama? Meron ba talagang pinagkagamitan? Saan ba talaga napunta? Kanino ba talaga napunta? Or ito ba biglang naglaho? Yan po ang tinutumbok ng impeachment court.
Yes, Garin. Kasama rin po natin ngayong hapon si Congressman Terry Ridon ng Bicol Saro Party List, miyembro po ng House Prosecution Panel. Good afternoon, Kong Terry.
Sige po, magtuloy lang po yung mga tanong.
Ann?
Yes po, good afternoon po. Ann Soberano po of Bombo Radio. Sir, just want to ask lang po ang assessment ninyo sa naging cross-examination kanina ni Attorney Powa ng defense kay Mr. Wamil. Sa tingin niyo po ba may naipakitang mahalagang punto ang depensa?
Siguro ako na muna dahil ako po yung huling dumating. Una sa lahat, yung po binabanggit ni Attorney Capuna na scam, yung pa rin ho yung pagtingin ho namin, na ilantad ngayong araw po na ito, yung pong pagiging scam, iskandalo, nito pong confidential funds misuse. Nakita po natin yung pattern ng maling paggamit, yung pong mga peking mga pangalan. Nakita po natin na yung pong pera, hindi po ginamit para sa confidential expenses, hindi po nila maipakita yung pong confidential activities na pinagamitan po ng pondong ito. Nakita po natin na yung pong mga rewards slash cash, rewards slash medicines, rewards slash various supplies ay hindi po pinayagan ng Commission on Audit at the level of the Commission on Audit proper. Kaya pwede ho natin sabihin, katulad na binanggit ho previously ni Congressman Joel Chua, na this is akin to the fertilizer fund scam. But more importantly, we can say today na ito po ay katulad ng Napoles PDAF scam. Sa Napoles scam, mga kaibigan, na pinag-usapan po natin doon, ghost NGOs, ghost beneficiaries, malalaking pera na hindi ho natin alaman kung saan po napunta. Ganon po din yung nangyari po dito. Malalaking encashments ng pera, 125 million pesos. Pagkakakilala ho natin kay Mary Grace Piatos, Nova Santos, Milky Sikuya, hanggang sa araw na ito, hindi po liquidated ng maayos yung pong paggamit nito pong mga pondong ito. At ano yung sabi kanina sa pagdinig? Pagka hindi po tama yung liquidation, there is a prima facie view na ito po ay pinera nung pong mga involved po ng mga matataas pong opisyal, head of agency, katulad po ni Pangalawang Pangulong Sara Duterte at yung kanya pong mga kasama sa OVP. So sa dulo-dulo ho, the burden is not on the prosecution at this point. The burden of evidence is already on the defense. Kasi the presumption exists today. And for as long as it is unrebutted, yung pong paliwanag nila, for example, na preliminary lang naman daw yung pong AOM, preliminary lang naman daw po yung notice of disallowance. But we will go to the final point. Meron pong desisyon yung Commission on Audit proper. Pinasosoli na po ang Pangalawang Pangulo at ng kanya pong mga kasama ng 73 million for the 2022 OVP confidential funds. At yung susunod pa ho, yung pong balanse ng 448 million para sa 2023 confidential funds. So tama po si Attorney Kapunan kanina. This is a scam. This is a scam similar to the agricultural fund scam. It is similar to the Napoles scam. At alam po natin yung naging ending doon. May mga nakulong po ron. May mga napanagot po ron.
Okay. Han? Okay. No, Haji?
Yeah, just-
Ay, si Attorney Jay muna.
Very quickly also, just to add, sa tingin namin, lalo pang napagtibay yung testimonya ng aming testigo. No? Dahil hindi naman nabutasan, in fact, maraming bagay na linahad niya sa direct examination na hindi na natanong no, on cross-examination. No? Tulad ng hindi na na-question kung totoo ba yung naging malinaw na partisipasyon ng Vice Presidente sa paggamit at pag-liquidate ng mga confidential funds nito na pinatutunayan nung napakaraming dokumento na inisa-isa kanina ni Attorney Kapunan na nagpapakita no, madaming approval certifications signed by the Vice President herself as the head of the agency no, of both Office of the Vice President and Department of Education. So that they didn't even touch upon this issue. Maliwanag, hindi ito nabutasan. No? Pangalawa, yung pinakamahalagang tanong dito, tulad nga ng nasaan ang mga resibo to show na nagkaroon talaga ng pagbili ng mga medical supplies, no? Hindi yan, they didn't even touch on this matter, no? Paano nangyari? Within 11 days, inubos yung 125 million pesos. In 11 days, rentals amounting to average of, if I'm not mistaken, around 2 million aggregate per day. No? Nakita naman natin, hindi na yan nausisa pa. No? So, it means no, the testimony of the witness on this matter stand.
All right. Haji, your turn.
Good afternoon po, Haji, Brigada News FM. Follow up lang po doon. Kasi parang may binabanggit kanina si Attorney Powa na, may tanong siya doon sa witness na bawal bang gastusin yung confidential fund sa loob ng 11 araw? And I think parang sumagot po yata na hindi. Yung witness.
Tama. I think hindi yun ang issue doon. Ano? Hindi naman namin sinabi kahit kailan na bawal gastusin yan ng 11 days. Ang katanungan dyan is, napakita ba ng Vice Presidente, no, na justify ba niya na kung paano nila inubos itong 125 million pesos just in 11 days, no, in a way na consistent dun sa joint circular, no, kung saan nakapaloob, ano lang yung specific authorized uses no, of this confidential funds. Yun naman ang tanong dun, no, paano nyo yun inubos in 11 days, napakita ba nila, no, na na-liquidate nilang tama, no? Na-account nila yan, paano nila ginamit yung 125 million? As tulad nga ng sinabi kanina, among those expenses, no? 11 days, around, if I'm not mistaken, aggregate of total of 2 million per day, no? For rentals. That's per day, that's not per month, no? That's per day.
Yung ano po, it was observed kanina, they did not delve that much, or sabi nyo nga kanina hindi na-touch yung sa expenses, yung mga resibo, hindi po na ipaliwanag. But what does it say nung hindi rin po nasama rin sa cross yung mga discrepancies sa petsa, like for example yung sa coverage nga po na dapat 2022 pero 2023 yung nakita po sa acknowledgement receipts?
Well, I guess because it's very difficult to contest them. The documents speak for themselves. Clear, hindi lang minsan nangyari, napakadaming beses nangyari. Ang katanungan kasi dyan, usually kapag nagkakamali ka ng petsa, ng year to be exact, kailan mo ba nagagawa yan? Doon sa December? Or pag lumagpas ka na, handun ka na sa January, minsan na ilalagay mo pa yung previous year, no? Pero dito kasi 2022 supposedly ginamit itong mga to. 2022 supposedly na-execute itong acknowledgement receipts, pero makikita natin 2023 in dates. So yung mga tanong doon, no, na kailangan din harapin. Bakit nagkaganon? Napakadami nila, substantial number of the acknowledgement receipts on date ay 2023.
Kung titingnan kasi natin, malamang makikita rin ng Senate Impeachment Court. May posibilidad ba na ito ay hinabol? Alam naman natin sa gobyerno may tinatawag tayong longest day. Na pagdating ng katapusan ng taon, hindi mo na yan magsasara. Meron pa yung 15 days, may tinatawag na longest day. Subalit, kung longest day yon, it will still fall on 2022. Hindi siya 2023. So, marami ang pwede. Kaya nga, magandang matingnan din ito. Ito ba ay hinabol? Dahil kailangang i-justify kasi nga cash advance siya. So ito rin yung mga bagay na dapat pagtuunan ng pansin na hindi porket binigyan ka ng pondo ng gobyerno, your office can do anything you want about that funds. Meron tayong mga batas na sinusunod, may mga guidelines kung saan yun ang dapat paglaanan ng gastos, at merong mga output expected for every peso and centavo being spent. Kaya maganda na nauungkat ito ngayon, magandang matuldukan, magandang makita yung accountability ng kung sino mang involved, at ang napaka-importante, this trial will open the eyes of the people na dapat nagbabantay tayo kasi hindi pwede maulit ito.
There you'd like to add? Okay. Last na lang po. Palagay ho ninyo, may bigat pa kung halimbawa po na when it's their turn to present their evidence, mayroon silang halimbawa ipakilala na Gabriel Bisaya. May maipakilala po sila na Miko Harina, Alejandro Piquit, or kung sino man po yung tunay na tao na nasa likod po noon. May bigat pa po ba yun kung makilala yung personality sa likod po noon, or mas matimbang po ba ngayon yung paraan ng paggastos, like for example yung 70,000 po kay Mary Grace Piatos na for medical expenses yung binayad as a reward?
May bigat pa rin, no? Bakit? Una, andun na nga yung pinag-uusapan na tama ba ang purpose, no? Gigamit ba siya sa asa siya kinahanglang gamiton? No, example, kung sa isang bayan may pondo ka para ibili ng bigas at pamigay sa tao. Ngayon, binili mo yan ng toilet paper para gamitin sa sariling banyo ng opisina mo. Tama ba o mali? Siyempre mali. Pero, pag may iprinisintang tao, mas madudugtungan ang kwento. Kung talaga ba siyang ginamit sa isang bagay na dapat pagkagamitan. And I'm not sure, it might just strengthen the claims of the prosecutors.
And to add, bottom line is kahit na may humarap dyan, tulad nga ng sabi mo, papakilala siya si Andy Lim, Piquit, Piatos, Mary Grace Piatos. Let's be specific, Mary Grace Piatos. Sabi niya nakatanggap 70,000 no, for medicines. But tulad ng sinabi ng witness, mahalaga dito, mapakita, since supposedly bumili daw ng medicines, nasan yung official receipts? Nasan yung sales invoice? Oh, kasi yun ang kailangan mong patunayan. Kailangan mong i-liquidate yun. Kung talagang sinasabi mo, ang unang-una, may question, pinangbayad mo ng information, medicines. No? But let's assume...
Attorney, baka po kasi nung ininom yung gamot, nasamang mainom yung resibo.
No? So, let's assume na mayroong humingi no, ng kabayaran sa information, pinambayad niya, ang hiningi niya medicines. So, but at the end of the day, yun ang importante doon. Patunayan mo no, na talagang meron kang biniling medicine. Hindi mo naman hingin yung OR kay Mary Grace Piatos. No? Ang pagkukuhanan mo yan, yung butika na pinagbilan mo ng gamot na supposedly binigay mo kay Mary Grace Piatos.
Well, mahalaga din po yung pagsipot ho nila eh. Kung sino man ho yung totoong tao sa likod po ng Mary Grace Piatos. Kasi nga, kahit may pasulpot ho yung tao na yon, kailangan pa rin ho sagutin yung ilang mga particular na tanong. Una, ano yung relasyon nito pong pagbabayad ng reward doon po sa confidential activity na pinag-uusapan? Yun po yung unang kailangan ipakita eh, para dito sa bagay po nito. Pangalawa, kailangan po ipakita ano yung resulta nung pong confidential activity po na ito. So, yun naman yung sinasabi, bakit ho disallowed in audit with finality. Ito po mga rewards po na ito. Kasi hindi po napakita yung dalawang bagay na yan. So, even if sumipot si Mary Grace Piatos, that is the exact same standard na hihingin po mula sa kanya. Ano yung confidential activity? Ano yung resulta ng confidential activity? Bukod pa syempre dun sa binanggit na po kanina na asan yung gamot? Ano yung tipo ng gamot na binili? Ibang bagay pa ho yun eh. Kasi specific to the item. So for example, kung various goods, rewards, various goods, ano yung various goods na actual na, binili para dito sa mga pinagbigyan po ng matangit. But more importantly, and this is not for this particular witness, pagka ho kasi sinalang din for example, yung pong NBI, tsaka PSA, dito na rin yung mapag-uusapan eh. Na talaga pong, parang it's not just the disallowed in audit na mga rewards, yung pong pinera dito. Kasi katulad ng sinabi ng NBI during the House Justice Committee proceedings, parang isang grupo lang o isang tao lang yung pong pumirma para doon sa mga acknowledgement receipts. So ibig sabihin, even the acknowledgement receipts outside of the rewards na disallowed po in audit like rewards, cash, rewards, medicines, rewards, various goods, everything outside that na acknowledgement receipts, subject to question na po yun. Kasi nga, yung NBI, sinasabi nila, parang ilang tao lang yung pumirma para dito. Hindi ba? And siguro sa final point, before the next question, very important po na maglinaw ho tayo kasi pinagbabangga po ng mga supporters ng ating pong pangalang Pangulo, yung usapin po ng COA findings at yung pong kapangyarihan ng Senate Impeachment Court to separately and independently exact accountability from the Vice President. Lahat pong ito, including the COA reports, including the COA findings, will serve as the facts, will serve as the basis and the evidence for the Senate Impeachment Court to make a determination on betrayal of public trust dito po sa confidential funds misuse. So ibig sabihin, kahit sabihin po nila na okay, yung pong 2023 confidential funds ay still pending, pwede pa hong iapila sa COA proper, or ito pong 2022 na final decision ng COA can still be appealed to a higher office like the Supreme Court, the facts remain the same. Hindi ba? Na meron pong maling paggamit ng confidential funds for 2022 and for 2023. And it is up for the Senate Impeachment Court to make that determination on betrayal of public trust.
All right, Lenesca, your turn.
Good afternoon po. Yung invocation lang po ng defense of VP Binay having confidential fund allocation in 2014, was it a sound argument to raise that issue given na yung 2014 allocation ni VP Binay ng confidential fund ay hindi pa naman po governed nung 2015 joint circular? Hindi po ba misleading yon on the part of the defense? How do you describe that move? Thank you.
Speaking as a layman, no, not as a lawyer, ang pananaw ko kasi doon is pilit na hinahanapan ng nililihis ang usapin doon sa talagang dapat pag-usapan. The issue here is nabigyan ka ng pondo, merong guidelines, Joint Circular number 15, kung saan siya pwedeng gamitin at ano yung output na kailangan. Yan ay hindi matumbok hanggang ngayon. So, andun yung pondo na bigay ginamit sa mga bagay na malamang, according to the Commission on Audit, hindi pwede, hindi swak, hindi pasok sa confidential fund kung meron mang pinagkagamitan. So, nirerespeto natin ang defense, subalit ang pananaw ko ay tila nililihis ang issue dun sa totoong pinag-uusapan. Was there betrayal of public trust? Merong bang, sa Tagalog, nanggaling kasi ng Iloilo, nakalimutan ko ng mag-Tagalog. No? Pero ibalik natin, bringing it to the point of contention na ipinapasok ang usapin ni Vice President Jejo Marbinay. Again, nililihis yun eh. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan dito, ang accused ay ang ating Vice President. Ang issue dito ay ginamit ba sa tama? May pinaggamitan ba? O talagang wala? O hinabol lang ba ang liquidation ng paggamit nito? Yan ang mga tinutumbok ng prosecution, kaya nila tinatanong ang witness.
In fairness to the defense, siguro what they were trying to point out is to look for inconsistencies or inaccuracies, no? In some of the answers given by the accused, and I mean the witness, Attorney Wamil, no? Dahil yesterday sinabi niya, insofar as he's aware, na-encounter niya Office of the Vice President since 2014, ang na-audit niya na confidential funds, ito lang kay VP Sara. So that's why they wanted to confront him with that, no? But again, we leave it to the impeachment court. Kung sa tingin nila, yung ganyang klaseng bagay, will it really materially affect the substance of his testimony, no? But unang-una, tulad ng sabi natin kanina, no? Sabi nga ni Attorney Wamil, nagamit ho ba yung amount na yan at na-liquidate ba yan, no? So, in the first place, did he really give an inaccurate statement? Dahil lang sinabi naman niya, yun lang ang na-audit niya, no? Ang pinakita lang naman kanina, may pondong na approve supposedly, no? Again, no one has even authenticated that document yet. But even assuming it's true, that not necessarily contradicts what the witness stated. But at the end of the day, ang pinaka-importante naman dyan, yung meat of the contention is, regardless kung merong past vice presidents na nakatanggap niyan ng issue dito, itong confidential fund na wala ng duda na nagkaroon ng vice presidente at ginamit niya, ginamit ba to sa tamang pamamaraan at na liquidate ba to ng tama?
Follow-up lang po, sir. Yung yung decision po ng Vice President sa Office of the Vice President to ask for audit findings rather than yung na-isyong audit observation memorandum, is that, would you say that it's already an admission na merong negligence on their part in terms of liquidating the confidential fund?
To be exact, first, ang ginamit na words ng witness is audit query. No? Sabi niya, kung meron kayong mga observations, pwede ba audit query na lang issue nyo instead of an AOM? Now, pag tanggap ba to, or is this an admission na meron talaga silang violations? You know, that assumes that when they asked for a meeting, they already knew that an AOM was forthcoming, no? Kasi kung sasabihin mong, kaya nga ba hiningi na nito, does it mean they already admitted, no? Meron deficiencies. But wala namang, to be fair, wala namang ganong statement nung witness, no, na alam na niya, na alam na nila na may AOM. That's why they made that request. But I guess what's important is, regardless of that request, the COA did not grant that request and they still issued the AOM. No? But siguro ang isa lang importante dyan, no? Tinanong nila paano ba, ano ba yung proseso dito? Paano ba mag-comply? At they were directed to the provisions of the joint circular. And despite this guidance, hindi pa rin sila nakapag-comply, no? As in fact, na-issuean sila ng AOM. After na-issue ng AOM, they made the response, na-issuean pa rin sila notice of suspension, and then to be testified by the next witnesses, ultimately notice of disallowance.
Idagdag ko lang, no? Siguro, of course, we respect no, the Office of the Vice President and the Defense dun nga sa pag-request nila ng audit query. But if we look at the process, ano po bang proseso sa gobyerno para sa kaalaman ng lahat? Kapag merong AOM or Audit Observation Memo, dapat sagutin nyo ng ahensya. Kapag hindi mo masagot, ay magiging notice of disallowance siya or notice of suspension. Ibig sabihin, papanagutan ng mga taong involved at ng opisinang yaan dahil may nakitang may findings at nagbigyan prueba ng COA. No? Kasi yung AOM serves as the first step para meron ka pang leeway, meron kang karapatang depensahan ang opisina mo o ang sarili mo. Now, after that, pag hindi mo talaga madepensahan at makita ang ginamit siya sa mali or hindi siya makita kung saan ginamit, pupunta ka na sa suspension or disallowance. Now, requesting for an audit query is actually going several steps backward. Parang either humihingi ng oras or baka pwedeng wag na muna, tarang technically hindi magiging official yung issuance para kapag meron silang isinagot or kulang or walang masagot ay hindi siya maging disallowance. Now, on that aspect naman, kaya nga meron tayong commission on audit because this is the taxpayers' money being entrusted. Gisalig sa imong opisina, gisalig sa pila ka tawo ang dako nga kantidad sa atong kaban, no? And when that trust is given to you, you should not break or translate that to distrust.
Siguro, to answer the point on the audit query request, no? Kailangan nating ipaliwanag na medyo makapalimuka ng mga involved doon sa OVP. Sino ba yung mga yon? OVP at Department of Education to even ask an audit query from the Commission on Audit. Kasi hindi ba poder ho nila yun? Trabaho nila yun eh. To actually issue audit observation memoranda or audit query memoranda. Ibig sabihin, ang Commission on Audit po yung mapagpasya kung alin po yung tipo ng mga memoranda yung i-issue ng Commission on Audit sa iba't iba pong mga opisina. It is not subject to a request. It is not subject to a favor by any other agency. Ibig sabihin, kung ano man huy lumapag na audit observation or audit document, kailangan pong tanggapin ng opisina yon. So ibig sabihin, wala po sa lugar para magkaroon ng pagpupulong at makiusap at magsabi na imbis na AOM ang i-issue, audit query na lang po ang i-issue. Hindi ho ba? Hindi ho ba yan pong mga ganyan tipo yung kinaiinisan ng atin pong mga kababayan? Yung pong huli pero hindi kulong. Hindi ho ba? Yan po yung exact situation po rito. They knew that an audit observation was forthcoming. Pero let's have a meeting, baka pwede naman audit query na lang. Kasi yung audit query po, from the name itself, ibig sabihin it is preparatory to an audit observation memoranda. Ibig sabihin, wala pa ho tayong actual observations ng maling paggamit, irregular po na paggamit. So, the meeting itself is actually irregular. Katulad na sinabi ko kanina, it is improper makapal yung mukha nung pong mga tao na nag-request po nito. It is Zulaika Lopez, and with respect to the Defense Counsel, Attorney Powa, representing the Department of Education, it was improper. It should not have happened.
Sir,
I think that is what they wanted to do. They tried to influence the agency instead of issuing an audit observation memoranda for both the OVP and the Department of Education. They wanted a slap on the wrist. An audit query memoranda lang po.
sir, regarding that line, that issue pa rin, no, sir? Kasi last March, if I recall correctly, tinitignan ko yung article, kayo yung nag-raise nung issue na may dalawang abogado si VP Sara, Attorney Powa and Attorney Monsayak, na may potential na maging witness kung magkakaroon ng impeachment trial. Lumitaw ba yung issue na to ngayon? Dahil yung mismo cross-examine, yun yung abogado na kasama dun sa OVP. DepEd.
Well, only specific to that point, syempre, there's a little bit of concern relating to that. Pero we have to discuss with the panel if there are like continuing issues relating to that po. Kasi, but you are correct. Though parang it felt a bit awkward that we are talking about the same person, subject of the query, and also the same person is subjecting the person to a cross.
Sir, do you think nag-a-apply pa rin yung theory ng iba na meron kasing mga nagsasabi na kaya raw tinap as lawyers previously si Attorney Monsayak, tapos ngayon si Attorney Powa, is because they want to prevent a cross-examination or a direct examination of the said lawyer?
Well, to be fair to Attorney Powa naman po, we will hold him to his commitment that in the event that he is sought as witness by the prosecution, he will state his truth, no? So, and subject himself to direct and cross-examination. So, we still hold him to that commitment, and he still has our respect as a part of the defense panel.
Sir, I'll jump forward. Is there a plan to call him to the witness stand regarding this issue or maybe any other issue in the future?
We will have to decide. I cannot make a commitment today.
All right. Thank you, Gab. Isa, her turn.
Good afternoon po. Samantalahin ko lang po na nandito si DS Janet Garin. Kasi yesterday po, kung di po ako nagkakamali, nagkaroon po ng rigudon sa mga chairmanship and meron din pong deputy speaker na nawala, si Congresswoman Christine Mihan Singson. And nililink po kasi doon yung pong hindi nila pagsuporta or hindi pagboto po sa impeachment complaint or case versus Vice President Sara Duterte. Pakilinaw na lang din po, DS. Thank you po.
Yung mga ganong bagay ay desisyon ng bawat partido. Kaya makikita mo na bawat partido may allocation ng kanilang mga komitiba at leadership position. At bawat partido ay nagkakaroon ng changes sa kanilang mga representation every now and then.
Pero masasabi niyo po na wala siyang kinalaman sa impeachment? May kinalaman po ba? Ano po yung katotohanan?
I really cannot comment na may kinalaman at hindi kung hindi siya miyembro ng Partido Lakas. But in the case of Lakas CMD, meron kami mga miyembro dati na pinalitan dahil merong mga sharing ng kanilang obligasyon.
All right. Any other questions?
Yung iba pala, lumipat na ibang partido. So pag lumipat ka na ibang partido, syempre hindi mo bit-bit ang iyong posisyon.
All right. Any other questions related to the impeachment? Siguro kung wala na, let's give our parting word from DS Garin. Anong asahan natin? Anong nais nating iwanan sa ating mga kababayan ngayong araw na ito?
Umuulan, bumabagyo ang mga impormasyong ating natatanggap. Pero kagaya ng lahat ng ulan at bagyo, meron ding katapusan ito. And at the end, magkakaroon ng rainbow. Lalabas ang katotohanan, magkakaroon ng accountability. Maraming salamat.
On that note, muli po maraming salamat kay Congressman Terry Ridon, DS Garin, and Attorney Jay. Salamat din sa ating mga kaibigan sa media at mga kababayan na matuloy na sumusubaybay sa trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa kanyang impeachment. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.